Hello, listeners. And
It's in my notes.
and welcome to a very special episode of Peeves and Cues.
All right.
I'm your host, Mr. Red, and with me is our one-time guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, one-time guest.
Hello.
You've done this before, you know how this... Quaffman.
Why am I here?
And that's all we have, so
Really?
we're gonna...
Come on.
Oh, hey, what's up, clever girl?
Hi.
Cool. So this is our Halloween episode. It's a Halloween spooktacular. That's, people say spooktacular, so that's...
Pretty sure Spooktacular is copyrighted, but
Oh, is it? What is it? ABC
probably Disney
Family
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something weird like that. I have their stupid... I've used the word stupid like 4 times in this
do
situation.
not call Disney stupid. But
No, Disney not stupid. They're very smart. They're
They
just...
probably own us.
Yeah, by this point.
yeah,
They're
seriously.
going to buy out our parent company and own our intellectual property.
They probably, like Libsyn, they probably do own in some capacity. So, this is a podcast where we ask each other questions and talk about what's annoying us each and every week. And this week is Halloween week. And so, that's coming up. Is everyone excited for the spirit of the season, as they say?
I like fall. And, this is bad to say, but I'm going to say it anyways, I like slutty costumes.
Well,
They're nice.
it's at least you're honest.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with speaking to...
There is nothing wrong with slutty costumes,
Exactly.
but the
Right.
expectation that all, like, oh, you're a female, what are you gonna be? Oh, I'm gonna do this. Oh, like, how do you make that? I can't see that. That's not slutty. It's like, well, no, of course not. Like,
Like, what do people joke about? The slutty Ninja Turtles costumes?
Well, now this year they have Slutty Hamilton, which is so funny.
What?
Have you seen it?
That's just
Slutty
slutty
Hamilton.
Revolutionary War.
so just wear like a bodice.
You look like a...
Like, just wear like.
No, but it's Hamilton.
Oh my
Slutty.
God.
Oh, not...
But it is a girl costume. It's very confusing.
Okay, sure. I mean, people are allowed to dress up as whatever they want.
Okay.
Someone at this table is... That was a possessive contraction there. Someone at this table's favorite holiday is Halloween.
That would be mine. Yep. Certainly is. I'm looking forward to it. And actually, Halloween's on a Monday this year.
It's gonna be weird.
Yeah, and it'll be the first time that I've ever dressed up at work. So I'm kind of nervous, and I'm still going to do that high school thing where I, like, bring my costume to make sure other people are in costume and then change into my costume when I know people are in costume.
But what about this? What if everybody does that, so when everyone shows up...
So then they just never wear them.
everyone has
our high
costumes.
school experience every year.
That's mine.
That's how it was.
Wasn't mine.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's
I
really
mean,
funny.
not the school that we went to.
I'll bleep it out.
Yeah.
And
Stop making jokes about it. I have to bleep.
and that's what you call a passive-aggressive arms race.
Oh,
But,
nice.
no.
That took me a second. Yeah, so I'm excited for Halloween. I really love fall. I always forget how much I love fall until it's fall
Until
time.
it's here.
Yeah, and then I get so excited because right now I'm actually drinking apple cider and I don't,
Eating candy corn.
Oh, that's
You're
just,
a walking...
that's just because of the sugar. That's not because of Halloween. But I wanted to get donuts, like those donut holes that you get when you have cider, and bring them in. You just don't like anything, do you?
Well, no, I ate not too long ago, so the thought of intaking more food
yes,
just...
What did you eat?
I had just like a sandwich. I had like a Subway sandwich.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to stop eating these because of sugar.
Good idea.
Good idea. Sugar, also, with the trick-or-treating and candy. I miss trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treating was so
too.
much fun.
I don't.
You don't, really?
Hated trick-or-treating.
Tell us
Why?
about your trick-or-treating
hate-
Did
experience.
you have bad experiences?
No, not really, though. It's just I never cared enough about having so much candy. You know?
You just
For me,
hate
it was-
fun, though.
it
isn't
was
it?
never about the
'cause,
candy.
Like, so, like, I liked... Like, I would always... Okay, yeah, that was fun. Like, I got to hang out with a couple friends, maybe, and did trick-or-treating or whatever, and I got some candy out of it, so I'll have some candy. But, like, I was so restricted on the candy intake. It was, like, one piece a day. So it was like, why?
Yeah.
By the time,
Why didn't you just go out and
By
buy
the time-
candy
yeah.
and just...
by the
like,
time Christmas gets here, it's like
You're
petrified.
right. So like
Yeah,
whatever.
it's rock candy.
And that I didn't really
Now I got a rock.
I got a
right.
rock.
I didn't really have too many trick or treating experiences with friends, just because I had a younger sister, And so...
So you always had to take her trick-or-treating?
It wasn't I always had to take her. It was always... My mom was like, it's just you, you two.
Yeah.
And I remember one year it was like drizzling out, and my mom had us drive around the neighborhood in the car, and she would like...
Yeah.
Pull up and you would just run in, run out.
Right. And I wanted to just like walk in front of the car. And of course I'm like 10 at this point.
Right.
And she's like, no, get in. And I'm like,
It's like 2 feet.
Why?
I always hated when it was shitty weather on Halloween, and I don't only like Midwestern Northerners or whatever would understand that you spend however long either making your costume or however much money you spent on your costume, and you have to cover it up with a fucking coat because it's disgusting outside.
Right, and even if you don't have to cover up, it's still, you just don't want to be outside, but you want to be trick-or-treating. You haven't said a word about this.
You just don't like to be outside. That's your thing.
I don't remember trick-or-treating.
What?
So for those of you who haven't caught on, I'm kind of dumb. I don't have a lot of childhood memories, but I do have one trick-or-treating memory that was kind of cool. So I lived in, I say a trailer park, but it was like this nicer double-wide subdivision. They were mobile homes, but it was more of like a subdivision than a trailer park. And so
it's like the perfect place to go trick-or-treating.
Well, and there wasn't much trick-or-treating there, but at the end of the night, my mom was like, you know what, we'll just do like a lap around the trailer park, see if
and everybody dumped their candy into your bags because they're like, I'm done.
To this house, and apparently the universal sign for we have candy here is to leave the light on.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, did you go to a house that didn't have the light on?
Well, they had the light on, so I go up and I knock and I say trick or treat, whatever. And they're like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, we're having a party.
What?
Lights on for the party people." And
well,
so they
that's
took
dumb.
a punch bowl of candy and just dumped it all in there.
No, yes.
Good.
Jack?
Yes.
That story started out like
I mean,
it was
for
really
you,
sad,
for
but
me,
then-
it'd be like, all right, you can have that till next Halloween.
It was, and like, it was the good stuff. And it was like Reese's and
Oh
all
my
the,
gosh. I always went to the rich neighborhoods to go trick-or-treating because I knew they had the best candy.
It was
And
good times.
I have this very completionist mentality, so just going around and collecting, things, I like that. Plus, it's sugary goodness.
What do you like to go around collecting?
Candy. Not anymore. Like, this is when I was a kid, It was okay. Just to be...
Did you have to have every kind of candy?
No, I'm just saying
Oh.
I enjoy getting things. I enjoyed going out and here's some stuff. Ooh, good. Now next thing, here's some stuff. Ooh,
If
good.
life had a trick-or-treating achievement, he got the 100% badge.
Oh, I would have... Yes. I'm an achievement whore. I will go after every achievement.
Yep.
That's true. So, let us move on to
Lettuce.
our lettuce.
Burgers.
You don't get lettuce on...
Hopefully.
Halloween when you there's no segue here. Let's just do peas. Who's mad about things this week? Who wants to go first?
I have something, but can I go last? I'm trying to articulate.
I have one. I'm going to substitute my peeve this week for an embarrassing moment of the week.
Ooh, okay, cool.
So,
Breaking the laws. I like it.
yeah. Because I don't have anything that I'm mad at this week, which is a shocker.
Yeah.
So I run the Facebook for the company that I work for, or office that I work for. And I just recently started getting super, super involved in it. Sorry. So I've been just posting a bunch of stuff, and Facebook has this new scheduling part where you can schedule your posts that go out. So I basically spend I can spend maybe an hour at the office and line it up for the next 3 weeks or whatever I need. So I'm sitting, it's a very slow day at the office, and the office has a laptop that I use specifically for that, so it's not on our IP, whatever, and get viruses through our computers. So I log on, I access the office Facebook through my personal Facebook, so I open up my Facebook, and my boss is sitting to the right or to the left of me, because we're in the break room. And so I log on. Of course, I'm going to check my personal stuff while I'm on my personal Facebook. And I run a group called, I think it's called Mid-Michigan Plus Size Cosplayers. Which, go ahead, die laughing.
I'm not laughing, but I know where this is going.
Right, that is valid, but I know.
And of course, banner picture is all of these women, all different shapes and sizes, with like just in bras and panties and beautiful written on their stomachs and whatever. Together they spell beautiful. So someone wanted to get into the group, so I was going to approve that, and of course, just then my boss like peeks around the computer and he's like, "Oh." He literally, and I was just like, oh my, like there's no way I could spend like an hour explaining to him what this was. Wow. But it was just like, oh, but thank God it was my younger boss and not my older boss.
What are these kids doing on these computers these days?
Yeah, he seriously would be like, you're fired.
Yeah.
So that was I like shook it off like no big deal, but inside I was like, oh my God.
Wow. That's one of those that in like still like 5, 6, 7, 10 years I'm gonna look back and be like,
you're gonna remember that and be embarrassed still.
And he probably won't have even remembered.
Oh no,
it by the
he
time.
doesn't give 2 shits about it. But
right.
I'm just gonna be like, oh, why me?
Yeah. All right, cool.
So that was mine.
Nice, I like it. So I don't know if I should substitute my peeve as well for just something cool that's going on, which is kind of the opposite of a peeve. This is going to be
if you don't have a peeve, you don't have a peeve.
All right, so there's this app that I enjoy called Jetpack Joyride. It's a mobile app on your phone. It's a game, and I love it. It's a lot of fun. It's basically this rail where you're going on this path, and you hold down on the screen, or it's also on consoles or on computers where you press a button or whatever, and your character will move up to the ceiling, and then if you let go, it'll move down to the ground. You have to avoid missiles and zappers and things and collect coins, which is a lot of fun. And recently, like 2 or 3 days ago, they released this update for it, which was a Halloween theme. And so the entire game basically got taken over by this.
It's spooky.
Yeah, it's the exact same game, but there's decorations all around Halloween stuff, and there's this new mechanic where occasionally there'll be pumpkins that fly through, and if you collect enough of them, you get upgrades for the game, and it just adds an extra incentive to play it. And it made me really realize that I'm a huge fan of this game. And it's a really simple, just mobile app, and usually people don't care about those. But this is something that I've put a lot of hours into playing this stupid little mobile app that I really just wanted to talk about. Like, if it was popular 2 years ago, maybe a lot of people were downloading and playing it. I think less so now, but if you have forgotten about it, or if you've never played it, give it a chance. It's a really fun game. And it's going on for the next 12 days or whatever until I think Halloween. So if you get on it, there's still a chance, because you can get different costumes and stuff and actual things that are useful. Plus, the end result, if you collect enough of these pumpkins, is this new vehicle that you can get in the game, a bone dragon, which is awesome. So
Bone
dragon is ready.
Nice.
So, Jetpack Joyride, I'm a huge fan of this game. I think everyone should go play it. And the new Halloween thing, I really like. And I don't see enough people talking about it, so I'm going to right now.
And I really like your bone saw.
Thank you.
Reference.
Thank you.
I appreciated that.
I'm also a huge fan of Macho Man.
Oh,
Randy
I thought you were going to
Savage.
say Spider-Man, like with Tobey Maguire. I was like, no.
I mean, those movies are okay. They're just
we
not.
can't talk about them right now. It's the Halloween episode.
Yeah, it's Halloween.
And unless you're dressing up as Spider-Man, which you actually are.
Right.
Surprise.
Spoilers. So, yeah, Jetpack Joyride is cool.
Bone Dragon should be a band name. Gonna start off by saying that.
Okay.
So I actually do have a peeve, and it is Halloween related.
Dun dun.
So let me start by saying I hate horror movies. I really do. I
Hate
have
horror movies.
horror movies. Yes,
Or do you hate horror movies?
That's what I said.
Well,
Oh, was it? Sorry.
Is there an echo in here?
avoiding that topic. I don't like horror movies. The reason being, I am tragically paranoid, and I cannot separate my reality from the fiction of the movies. They fuck up my life.
Yep.
And so I really hate them. But my peeve isn't horror movies, because I understand that people like them, and it's a huge market. My peeve is horror movies that advertise in inappropriate places.
Ooh. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I understand, for example, Comedy Central. I understand the demographic for Comedy Central and horror movies are relatively similar. It's good marketing.
Right.
That's a comedy channel. I don't want to see some horrifying image in the middle of my midnight watching of South Park.
Yeah.
I want
Seriously, because I fall
comedy.
asleep and then I'm like, oh, and then you wake up to that commercial, of course, you know.
Yeah, Adult Swim.
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
that too. The
the best-
MTV as well, like integrates the commercial with the horror thing, so it's like, what am I watching?
Yeah, Adult Swim is. They started this a couple years ago. I think it's around the Halloween time where their infomercials block, which at first glance are just a commercial for something, but then they take a horrifying turn. Too Many Cooks, I think, was the first
Yes.
was the first one
Yeah.
that they put out, which was
So good.
huge. It was a viral video. Everyone was talking about it, and then they made more. If you've seen unedited footage of a bear, it's the same thing where it starts out as this. I showed you two this.
Yeah.
Where it's just it starts out as this commercial of this this drug that you can take that will clear you up and make you not depressed or whatever, and then as it goes on, it just goes downhill. Like the thing fades out, but the clip is still going, and then this clone of the woman that's in the video shows up, and then they fight, and it's like, well, what's going on? And that's horrifying for a while. And they just really like to mess with the 4 o'clock in the morning crowd.
Serious, it is seriously like the witching hour, like 3 o'clock in the morning is when I always wake up to those commercials, and I'm like, what? I didn't sign up for this.
Right.
And I've heard stories of people that are watching this thing, and it's like this really quiet, like this woman just kind of looking into the camera for a while, and then just starting to laugh, and then it cuts to something else. Why would you put this on television for people to just
Now I'm all creeped out. Thanks.
accidentally?
Like,
Okay.
and I get that it's good marketing, but I hate it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Get it out of my life.
not want
Put that on sci-fi.
Seriously.
But that's not where it's creepiest because you're
'Cause, yeah.
expecting it.
Right.
So real quick, I'm gonna take a picture of our table and put it on the Twitter. So this is in real time, you guys. When you hear this, you
Is
can go
when
back
we
and
record it.
yeah, you can go back and watch this. So
Why? Because of the tablecloth?
yeah, the tablecloth, and yeah, I just thought it was very thematic. So I'm integrating. It's synergy, right? It's brand synergy. I'm integrating the tweets.
Good
with
job.
The twits. Put it on the twits.
It's not what it's called.
Are you?
I mean, it's Twitter, so they have to twit. It's not
Alex.
tweeter.
Are you making the Trivection oven?
I don't know what you're doing. Right?
30 Rock. Alec Baldwin.
All
Jack
right.
Donaghy.
Yeah.
Anyways, now
Okay.
that fell face first.
Also, to go, yeah, synergy. To go back and dredge up some more old wounds. You don't call them Japanese people.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Well, that's because of proper grammar.
Right. Proper grammar of they tweet.
Right.
Birds
Yeah.
tweet. They are twitters.
No, they're tweeters.
What do you have a peeve about? Is it Jordan? Because mine is.
It's not.
I changed mine.
It's
Yeah.
not Halloween related.
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
That's fine.
But I want to hear it.
So in the general sense, like, my peeve is about people put in a position of authority that have no business being an authority.
Okay.
So my girlfriend is a stage manager for a show at the university that we
My
attend.
girlfriend. Sorry.
What? That's not.
I know.
That's not the joke.
It's
That's
the
not
closest
meme.
I think any of us are going to get.
And I think I've even talked with this director on the podcast before.
Oh, I'm sure you
Maybe,
have.
probably.
maybe on a lost episode.
Oh, yeah.
But I've
It was the one that
I
we
made an
didn't-
attempt to talk about this director on the podcast. and
Speaking of which, we are recording now. Okay, good. We're
Yeah.
still on.
right. So this person is non-specific in directions given, not just to act. I mean, this is just in general. Like taking this out of like the theater realm, just in giving management directions, giving proper time to complete tasks, completely inappropriate comments and behavior in and outside of rehearsal, expectations being beyond what anyone would ever expect anyone of a specific position to be able to do, let alone the fact that it's not even their job to do that.
Yeah.
And so my peeve, so like that's where like this comes from is you know, that's kind of going on in my life, but thinking about how people can be educated, work their way up, and still be terrible at what they do.
There's
I don't get that
Because nobody's told them otherwise.
Because if you want to be better and better yourself, you A, take criticism.
Exactly.
And B, you are critical of yourself. But I don't think this director, has ever done that in her life. And that bothers me.
Yeah.
That she's perfectly content in either knowing...
In ignorance.
Either knowing that she is the way she is or is completely oblivious to it. To me, either is unacceptable.
There is a documented phenomenon of this type of thing happening. I cannot remember the effect that it's called. It's the something effect, and I can't remember. But it's the idea...
James Franco effect.
Probably. I don't know what you're...
I mean, nothing too particularly impressive.
Don't derail the conversation.
Always there.
It's just if somebody does a really good job at their job, they get promoted, and then they do a great job there, and they get promoted, and then they do a great job there, and they get promoted, and then they're bad at that job, and they don't get promoted, but they also don't get demoted, and so they stay at this job that they're bad at until they retire. And so it's this thing that happens a lot where people rise to a point where they can't do well anymore, but then they don't leave until...
And the thing is, like, for me, the position that this director has as a director and as an educator at this university, there are things that are done that in any other circumstance, in any other job, would have gotten this person fired immediately.
Yeah.
There would have been inquiries and everything like that. But there's also this attitude in the department at this university that, well, the students need to learn how to work with terrible people. And so they keep her around even though they know this shit happens.
Maybe she's just a phenomenal actress and she's like teaching you.
I don't believe that.
I don't think so either,
second.
but just imagine.
That's the longest con.
I would lose my fucking mind.
Can you imagine?
I would be the first to shit myself in public.
Wow.
I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to shit myself in public.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been on the other side of that. Someone that you know who this person is, and I won't names, but this person, I was elected to the community theater board at age 19. This person decided that he wanted to cast some judgment on me that what the fuck would I know about being on a board at 19.
Right.
This person had only done 2 shows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm way ahead of you. And I'm joining the board so I can learn how to do these things. But for him to talk smack and literally be like, you don't belong there, you know fucking nothing. So I'm not saying that this woman is like that, but
but I also
I've just been on the other side of that.
And also thinking about that, like, I also hate, so like, I would also hate if she was in her position and if she were to hear me say this, but I wasn't informed and I didn't think about the things that I say and this was completely unfounded and I just didn't like her. Like, that's also a problem too that I have of people willing to just throw people under the bus just because they don't like them as people, but they do a decent... Like, that's a problem too. Anyway, that's my peeve, is that.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that definitely is... I'm sure a peeve that a lot of our listeners go through a lot.
Sure.
And it's surprisingly Halloween themed, because what you're describing is a nightmare.
Well,
and it's before Christmas.
hey.
No? Okay.
What?
Well, it's funny. It's funny you mention nightmares because that leads directly into my question.
Hey.
I'm going to what?
We went around the circle. You just jumped over me.
Didn't you? You said your peeve.
Yeah, but you didn't. Oh, are we asking questions?
Yeah, I was.
Well, then I would start the questions.
I don't think it matters, does it?
No.
That's how we've always... Never mind.
Not always.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, my question is about nightmares, so I wanted to tie it in there.
Good segue.
Maybe mine was about nightmares.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Is it?
No.
Do you want to take?
No.
You want to commandeer this segue?
No.
Okay.
Be a lot of edits.
Yeah. No, I think you should leave that in.
Probably should, except this part where I forget. Okay, what are some recurring elements from your nightmares? What are some things that keep popping up that whenever you...
Man, you cut right to the core.
Yeah, well, that's what this show's about.
Halloween is about fun and frivolity.
What?
And candy. Okay. What's
so,
yours?
Well, mine is whenever and things are always super What?
Go ahead. I just know the answer to mine.
Things are always super creepy in a nightmare, even when obviously that's what they're for. But situations where if they happen in real life, you'd be like, oh, that's weird. They're just unsettling and creepy in a nightmare. So one thing that always happens for me is whenever something weird is going on, maybe I heard a noise and I want to know what's up, it's always dark. And so I try to turn a light on, and the lights never come on in my nightmares. Whenever I try to flip a light switch, things stay pitch black, and then I'm immediately stricken with the most gut-wrenching fear because my brain is going, I need to be able to see right now. That's how humans perceive the world, is through their eyes, and I can't do that. That's taken from me, and there could be anything in this darkness that I don't know. And I'm not afraid of the dark. That's not something that freaks me out. But not being able...
I'd say you're afraid of the dark.
I'm afraid of what I can't see.
Right.
Which is fear of the dark.
Right.
Of the unknown. Yeah.
I get it. There's a huge difference between like, oh no, I need a nightlight, and what the fuck was that?
Yeah, and the rules of the world, i.e. turning the light switch up and the lights don't come on, are not working. Something's broken in the world, so...
Someone has broken the lights.
Maybe, yeah.
That's where my mind always goes.
Yeah.
But.
So, whenever I have a nightmare and I try to turn the light on... Also, running. I can't run in dreams, but that's not nightmares specifically. That's anything. Whenever I try to run, it's like, you know when you're in water and you're waist high and you can't move very quickly?
Yeah.
That's what running is always in a dream for me, even on solid ground, because I just can't. It's like my body's trying to move forward.
See, and I can run awesome in dreams and not in real life.
Well, I mean, have you ever stopped to think about running? It's such a weird activity. Because it's like, all right, walk, but way faster.
Well, getting somewhere faster.
I mean, no, like...
Getting away from something.
Processing in your brain how to run properly is just
I think it's
weird.
stupid that our bodies like don't allow us to run for just amazing distances.
Yeah.
Like, why do our muscles only hold so much compact energy when
you
like
get tired.
mine holds a ton of energy? Why can't I burn it faster and use it constantly?
Well, on the note you made, Jordan, I think about the act of just walking sometimes doesn't make any sense to me because you put one foot forward and then somehow magically your entire body starts to...
Friction holds your foot there.
Yeah, holds your foot there, and then you kind of fall forward and land on your other foot, and then move, and then you fall forward again. Walking is just weird.
Especially like when babies do it, you can really see that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not stoned, I swear. I haven't been smoking, I'm just saying. It's just some weird thing.
walking, man.
It's like you're like falling, but like you're still standing up. So that's my nightmares, you guys. Yeah, turning lights on just never works. Pitch blackness, always blackness and sorrow and suffering. How are you? What's your nightmares like?
I just call that our apartment.
Well, I don't.
I know
Way to
that was-
go.
I know.
Yeah.
Way to go. I stay here too, you know. You
Yeah, I have to sleep here. All right.
Well, I don't have many nightmares. In fact, I only really have one that I can remember. I did have a recurring nightmare or a night terror as a child. So my sister died when I was young, and I had this recurring nightmare of just like darkness, and I would hear her, and then there was nothing, and it was horrible. So like just the inability to act was just horrific. Like knowing where things are going and not being able to do anything about it. It's like electing Trump. Had to bring it to Had to bring it to somewhere happier.
You know,
Happy.
I had opportunities earlier to bring up very topical events, but I decided not
Can
to
we
because
not? Yeah.
because I wanted to keep things timeless. But you brought it up, so I guess this is just where we are now.
I had to get some levity. I'm sorry.
All right.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. Quoth man.
Yeah, I don't really have nightmares. Like
ever?
Really ever.
Wow.
When I was a teenager, like that mid-teenage, like 15, 16 range, I had the same nightmare a lot. And it was always doing it for fun for some reason, but climbing free climbing
Yeah.
and just falling
Ooh.
and that feeling of falling.
You
And
must have slept on the edge of your bed a lot. Because that's what pushes it.
I don't.
Because then you're
I've always slept kind of. Anyway, whatever. But so that was. But so interestingly enough, so I'm older now. I'm 10 years older than that now, and it came back, and it came back, but like in a weird, sophisticated way. Like
Okay.
I've become,
It's classed up.
no, like so like the fear of just falling to my death from like a cliffside, okay, but like now that like I'm an adult and there are like far more like I fear more things that are like
Yeah.
As I mature, my nightmares mature with me.
I guess, but like I'm never gonna go. But that's
Only the
thing,
classiest nightmares.
Like I'm
for
never
Connor.
gonna go free climbing because I don't like climbing. So like, why would I ever like why? Right.
Your
So,
suspension of
I had a
disbelief is
dream
broken.
that I was staying in a hotel, and this hotel, like the floors went super high, and it was the elevator got stuck, and I'm like, it would really suck if this just dropped, and it dropped, and
That's like Alex's
in
thing.
that moment, like you're dead, and it went dark. It didn't stop though,
Yeah.
because I, in the dream, opened my eyes, and I'm in this crushed, broken thing of an elevator, and I can't move.
And you can't
I
speak
can't
either.
talk.
Yeah.
But I can see,
And you can feel,
and I
presumably?
feel just pain, and I'm like, I know I'm paralyzed. And I can hear people trying to get to me, but I can't say anything. And they're like, "What if he's dead? Well, if he's dead, well, maybe we don't need to like find him. Like
Oh,
we'll just
we
wait.
just-
We'll just wait
What
until
if
like
he's dead?
We'll
We
just
won't
wait
need to
till like
find him.
cut. Like we can just wait for however long. Like some specific person comes to cut open the
Yikes.
elevator, and so I'm just there,
Yeah.
just
So
dying probably.
So 2 points. The first
Yeah.
is that's another thing that happens in any nightmare or dream that I have, where wouldn't it suck if, and
Right,
then that
and that
immediately
happens.
happens. That's immediate.
Right.
Wouldn't it suck?
Yeah, I never have that.
Wouldn't it suck if there was a werewolf in this situation? Oh wow! Suddenly a werewolf.
and it's behind me. I don't need to look.
I don't need to
Oh,
look, 'cause
right
I
there
know,
it is.
yeah.
Okay.
Also, do you ever do the thing where maybe you're falling in a dream, or maybe you're not, but your body shakes and wakes you up?
Yeah,
Yes,
I do that a lot.
Because I read a book that had the name in it, and then I forgot it, so I had to look it up. So really, I don't know why I led with the information that I knew what this was called. It's called a myoclonic seizure. So that's some cool information.
I used to have dreams where I was walking down the hallway at school and like trip, and then you're like,
Oh yeah,
wake up.
It's I've had some really violent ones. Not
You
seizures,
do.
But I'll just be lying in bed about to sleep, and then all of a sudden it's not even like I woke up. It's like I
it's
thrash
literally
around. I practically flip over onto my
Like
stomach.
a convulsion.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you can still feel the bed shaking.
I've
Right.
never had a dream where I've woken up still afraid.
Oh,
I
I have
do.
those all the time.
I've never had a nightmare where I've woken up and I audibly
You're like,
make a sound. There was one, and it was the dream that I was just talking about where I woke up and I gasped for breath. But like in the dream, I felt like I couldn't breathe, so it was just a response to that. But like I've never, once I've woken up, like I am very aware the dream is over and I'm okay.
When I was very young once, I was about to fall asleep. Sorry, I just played footsies with you, I think.
Thank you.
I was about to fall asleep. I was on the edge, and then
I'm
the way
on the edge. Sorry.
and the way I was lying, it was very easy for sound to escape my mouth. I think I was laying with my head over the pillow or something, and I made this sound. I was like, and it freaked me out and woke me up. And it was so funny because I was just lying in bed, and I was like, what?
I do that.
Do you really?
I'm laying next to you too, and I'm like, because you're just like so tired.
and so I woke myself up from this noise I made. It was very strange. I still, it cracks me up to this day.
Something similar used to freak me out as a kid. So I used to spend every other weekend with my dad, and for a while my dad lived with my grandparents. And they had a very quiet house kind of in the back roads. And like the house was dead quiet. It's the middle of the night. I'm like lying awake, trying to fall asleep, and it was so quiet that I could hear my heart beating. and I could feel my heartbeat in my
In your ears?
eardrums.
I've done that.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like,
When I was younger,
this
yeah.
isn't okay. I'm gonna die. I don't know what this is.
It's and it's so loud. It's like,
Yeah, and it freaked me
Telltale
out.
Heart. Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
So that was yours.
Well, I'll start with the audible sounds that you make when you're so scared. I've only had one of those as well. I was being like pushed into a pool of frogs, and I hate frogs, and I literally that's the only
We've
time.
talked about that, right?
That's
Frogs?
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'm afraid of frogs. I think that was on one of our first episodes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I was so scared, and I literally like heard myself wake up, like, like. But that's the only time I've ever done that. But something that is recurrent in my dreams or nightmares, rather. I'm usually being like either someone's breaking into my house or looking for me, or something like that, and I cannot for the life of me dial 911. Can't do it. Dial 922-199. And then eventually, if I do like 911, it won't ring, or the operator's like, 1 second. I'm like, I like can't do it. Cannot dial the phone.
Wow, that's incredibly
So you're just
specific.
because it's like obviously if I was in real life, I'd be dialing 911. Like so, I feel like it's real. So I'm like, oh, I can't. My hands work.
Why is it in your nightmares it's always anything that you attempt to do
It's just
fails?
like, no.
But anything you don't want to happen happens. Why isn't there like a regular balance there? Why is it so...
subconscious fear.
Yeah,
I
I
guess.
can't drive in my dreams either.
Oh, yeah?
Like I can't. I like go too fast, and then I can't slow down quick enough to turn into the driveway. Or
Yeah,
something.
I am a terrible driver in my dreams. Like it's
Yeah, I don't. I drive backwards a lot in my dreams.
Oh, yeah.
necessarily backwards, but like I'm always not just speeding. Like I don't know how to brake. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
the
don't-
brake
yeah,
is.
I
It's
don't know
just,
what a brake
I'm going
is.
fast enough that I just need to swerve and like
Yeah, and hope inertia slows you down.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yep.
I have only ever had a dream that either involved a car or I was in a car, anything to do with cars once, and that was just like last week where I had a nightmare that I ran somebody over.
Yeah, he
that
told me
was
about
that was sitting in the road on the expressway too. It wasn't even like I was on the expressway and just somebody was lying and sitting up in the road, and I hit him, and then I had to pull over, and I called my dad first, and I was like, "Dad, I just ran somebody over," and then that's the last thing I remember. I woke up. So
I love how he would call his dad before he called like the police.
well, in real life I would call the police, but in my dream I don't
Dad,
know.
Daddy.
But I think maybe that makes sense though, because if I
I mean, it makes total sense. He calls his dad for everything.
well,
everything.
he knows everything. Not everything.
No, he
Anyway.
doesn't.
So yeah, 911. That's weird.
Yeah, cannot dial 911.
All right. Who wants to ask the next question? Did you? One of you?
I'll go
Was
for
that
it.
you
I
raising
wouldn't
your
know.
hand or
There was a
swatting away the
bug.
gnat?
There was a bug by my face. I'll go next. I know we don't do favorites a lot, but I do want to ask like, what's your favorite? Oh, I have two that I could choose from.
Maybe a bonus question at the
Yeah.
end.
What is your favorite? I know you're not gonna have an answer for this, but your favorite horror movie,
Ooh.
like straight up horror movie.
You and I might have the same one.
I don't know.
We'll see.
There's one that like I will watch anytime, any day, whenever, and that's 13 Ghosts. Ever seen it? No. Oh, okay.
I saw it.
Matthew Lillard, love. Yeah.
Okay, I was
And
trying
Tony
to remember the
Shalhoub,
name. Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah,
Yep.
Tony Shalhoub.
just funny, quirky, yet still kind of scary because it's that illusion of like, you put the glasses on and you can see the monsters, you take them off, you don't know where they are, but they're still there, and that type of stuff. So can watch that movie night or day, doesn't matter, love it. But the scariest movie that I haven't really watched it in probably 10 plus years, but it's so scary, is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one with Jessica Biel.
So 2003 or something.
Yeah, something like that. Oh,
I was just thinking about that.
just the scariest movie.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, hey, you haven't seen that one.
No, I haven't.
You've seen the newest one.
The
I've seen the
scariest
newest one
part
and
is
the
the
original
end.
one.
Yes!
The end
yes,
where it's the
absolutely.
footage, right? And it frees for yes. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm glad I have someone to talk
Yeah.
about that with. Oh my god.
Oh, it's that. I think that's what makes it the scariest.
Yeah.
Watch it; it's
Absolutely.
terrifying. I've tried to watch it another time, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. It's
Yeah.
so scary.
So, I have a feeling Ours might be the same.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Alien?
No.
What?
Oh, okay, cool.
Well,
Yeah.
Do you consider that a horror movie?
Yes.
the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One.
Is that the? I feel like it's the same way you consider Disturbia a scary movie. It's just
That's a-
so
that's a
suspenseful.
thriller.
That's a thriller.
Yeah.
thriller.
See, that's why Alien's a thriller. It's not really. To me,
I consider
to
it a
me.
psychological horror. It's
Yeah, to me, I think a thriller is more action. Like, it's horror, but with a lot more action involved, where people get in fights and everything, whereas a true horror is creepy and suspenseful, and you don't know what's coming around the corner and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Mm.
I guess it's
because I
mostly
saw
just
it
be
just so late
semantics.
in life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I first saw it when I was like 8.
Yeah,
9
see,
or something.
I'm 24.
yeah.
Yeah. It still creeps me out. Mm-hmm. I'm 25. Like that. But
Because it's deep rooted. That's why.
Maybe it's deep
Yeah.
rooted, but also I think as a film, it does an excellent job of creating an atmosphere that allows you to. This is gonna sound weird. To feel safe enough to be scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know. There's something about the
It's
sound.
because it's space and you're
There's
not
something
in
about the
space.
soundtrack to that movie very specifically that feels very, I mean, very scary, yeah, but very, like, open. I feel like I feel alone when I watch that. I feel, even if if I'm watching with a
Company,
group
yeah.
of people, I feel I am alone in
Iso-
the experience of
Alien
this film.
Isolation, if you will. Which is an amazing game, by the way.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Cool,
Alien.
cool.
But Texas
Oh,
Chainsaw
shit,
Massacre
it's so
2003,
scary,
right?
like-
my God, that's probably the jump scare that will still scare
And
me
then
to this day.
then someone told me that it didn't happen in Texas. It happened in Wisconsin. I was like, oh shit, that's a state over. I can't handle
That's too
this.
close.
Yeah.
Too close. I'm moving to Texas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna live in Texas. That's further away.
But you'll have to watch it on your own because I don't think I can bring myself to watch
Do
it.
it. I'll watch it.
I actually do have an answer to this.
Awesome.
Now, granted, it's a sideways answer, but I count it because it was advertised as a horror movie.
You may be stealing
what
mine.
it
Depending
is.
on-
Cabin in the Woods.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
It was.
See, I thought
That's
that might
what I
be
thought. That's what I
okay.
thought you were gonna say. Yeah.
Now, Cabin in the Woods was advertised as a horror movie, and it I guess, narratively is.
It is a horror
but
movie, yeah.
it is a meta parody of the horror genre.
I can watch that one
I
anytime too,
don't-
and not.
I'm sorry.
No,
sorry,
you're
go
fine.
ahead.
I was just saying I could watch that anytime too.
No, I love-
anytime.
I could watch
Because
that.
it's not really scary.
No,
It has elements of horror and it has scary moments, but there's nothing in it that makes you go like, I'm frightened.
The comedy breaks in it really do it for me. I'm like, ooh, okay,
Right.
we can handle this.
We need to split up.
And I
Really?
I don't necessarily think it's a parody. It's definitely deconstructive satire, and maybe that is just semantics.
I think, yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I think it works. I think the only reason it works as a horror movie is because we all know what the tropes are.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, and it definitely plays to that.
It's like serious Scream.
expectation. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, or Scream 2 rather.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that plus the Scary Movie franchise, 1, 2. The first two,
The
man.
first 2 were great,
Ah.
and then 3 was like, and then 4 you're like, what?
It's even going
4 began with a boner joke.
Of course it is.
Fantastic one.
Although Signs, was that the third or fourth one? When they did
Third.
Signs, the third. So they had the absolute funniest joke in movie history, which was when the cop was trying to explain how his wife was pinned, and he's like,
Oh my
"Could I
God.
still have time with the body or whatever?" And
Yeah, 'cause the
they were
bottom half-
using like donuts to
And
explain.
watch
and at
the
one point,
taco.
yeah, and at one point he was like, "Could I still have a moment alone with the underside of the body?" And the cop was like, "I don't know what you mean." And he holds up a hot
A
dog.
dog
And he's
and
like,
a donut.
"Let me explain."
And then she's like, no.
And then she stops him, yeah. And I saw that when I was pretty young, so like just seeing that was the funniest
I think
thing
I quote Scary
in the
Movie
history
2
of-
more than I should.
Oh my god. And Tim Curry, like,
yeah,
gem.
yeah,
What a gem.
seriously.
Because-
But I was gonna say something about Cabin in the Woods. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so I was going to answer this question with very long-winded because I was going to say I don't know exactly what you're looking for here because there are a lot of answers to the question. Cabin in the Woods is one of my favorite all-time.
I asked favorite, but
Yeah, it's one of my favorite all-time movies that has a horror in its genre
Connotation.
tag.
Yeah.
As far as movies that do actual horror and don't try to deconstruct it, The movies that scare me the most was the movie VHS, if anyone's seen that.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, you talk about this all the time.
Yeah, because with the exception of watching dumb movies when I was like a child that aren't really scary, when I was an adult or young adult, watching the movie VHS was the only time in a movie I've ever had to pause it and walk away because I was shaking, because that movie is so
That's
intense.
what I wish would have happened with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I wish I would have stopped.
Yeah, because that movie I was and I loved watching it too. So I'm a huge fan of the found footage genre. I think, and they're not always horror movies. The movie Chronicle, which I think is an excellent film. It has Harry Osborn from the new Amazing Spider-Man in it. And I've mentioned my favorite power being telekinesis, and this is a story of 3 young kids getting the power of telekinesis and also filming, like using cameras to film everything. But it's this,
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, I've definitely seen commercials for that. I've never seen it.
which when it first came out, it didn't really look interesting, but me watching it, I was like, this is one of my favorite movies. Like, I just love everything that's going on here. So it's not really a horror movie, though. I'm a huge fan of Paranormal Activity. I know a lot of people...
Yeah, those are scary, too.
But I think the idea is just so simple and genius, and they executed it.
It's Jaws theory.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
You don't
And
see the
that's
monster.
you don't see the monster, and so that's what makes it so scary.
Right.
It's complete Jaws theory.
And it even plays into the horror more because it's in the home and it's happening.
Yeah, it's in your home.
In
It
these
could happen
people's
in your
safe
home.
places. This is you're seeing people asleep in their beds where you have to feel the safest in order to function as a human. You have to feel safe in your
I
bed.
feel like you have to feel safest on the toilet.
Oh, well, sure.
Let's be real. That's where I'm the most vulnerable. I have nightmares of things coming out of the toilet all the time.
I have a fun fact about that.
Which
Have you ever noticed how...
No, if you ruin toilets for me, I'll kill you.
Have you ever noticed how when dogs go to the bathroom outside, they'll sometimes look at you?
oh yeah.
That's because they
They're
see
most-
you
yeah.
as the pack leader, and they want to make sure you're there to protect them.
Aww.
That's nice.
Yeah, fun fact.
That's nice.
My theory,
I love dogs even more now.
my theory when I first saw the commercials for Cabin in the Woods, I thought they would go through different endings of the movie.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, you went to see it on Thursday and I went to see it on Friday, and you're like, oh, wasn't it cool when the vampires happened? And I'm like,
Yeah.
vampires? What do you mean? I saw zombies, and, like, you know,
Okay,
that
so
would have been awesome.
There's a lot about this movie that could be spoiled, and I'm not going to spoil any of the stuff.
That was 4 or 5 years ago.
Still.
Watch it.
I haven't seen Citizen Kane. I think it's valid to say something that's older.
Or do you need to?
It's one
It's
of
the best movie on Rotten Tomatoes, apparently.
yeah.
Empire Strikes Back.
Is it?
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back.
Since
Well,
when?
Well,
Then again, Citizen Kane, considered one of the great movies of all time.
yeah.
I haven't seen
Proceeding.
any. No, this is, yeah.
There's a moment earlier in the movie, and where they're in this dark, creepy basement, and there's all these artifacts around, and at one point they pick up this book and they start reading Latin, and outside all these zombies start coming up, and the idea is they were meant to choose. And so Jody was saying, how cool would it be if in select theaters they played the zombie thing, and then in other theaters they played this
where,
creepy girl that came from this music box, or...
But also
Or
how
the Conch.
expensive would that have been?
True,
Jesus.
yeah,
Who
that's
fucking
true.
Joss Whedon has the money to do that.
Now he does, but that was before...
That's true. He
The
made that
Avengers.
before that.
yeah,
Yeah.
It came out, I think, after
Because they had Chris
Avengers,
Hemsworth
Hemsworth,
in it. Yeah.
But it was filmed before Thor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
it
why
was-
they
it was-
released it, because
It
they're
was
like,
filmed
oh,
in 2009
Yeah.
and
Nine.
didn't come out until 2012.
13.
11 or
13?
12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
no, 12.
Something.
Had to have
12.
been, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I really love... Yeah, Cabin in the Woods is just such a great movie.
It really is.
Yeah, so...
And I love one of my favorite, like, behind-the-scene movie facts that I've ever heard is that their stoner character changed from being a hipster to a stoner because he was ripped, quote, like the Lord Jesus Christ.
Brief shout out to Dollhouse, one of the greatest TV
Yes.
shows ever. That guy was also in it. He's the best character. Like the way he moves with his hands, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so just weird." I love that character.
Basically, does the same thing in that movie.
Yeah,
It's essentially the same character.
It's
Yeah.
almost the same
Cabin in the Woods
character,
is a little more, you know.
except in Cabin in the Woods, he's way more stonery, and in Dollhouse, he's so like, I'm so much better than everyone, which is just a lot of fun.
Yeah, Marty doesn't think he's better than anybody.
So I want to also brief shout out to the Saw franchise because a lot of people hate on that. I think it's a lot of fun. I think just the
It
entire
started a phenomena.
Oh yeah, the first movie is legitimately a great film. People,
Yeah.
It's not made great. Story's great.
yeah, the acting's okay, but
Wesley, get your shit together.
It's legit. It is a legit B film. Like that's
Yeah.
Right.
but I
Story's great though.
I think the story and the writing is pretty good, and the directing I think is amazing. Like for what they had to work with, they nailed that movie. And then it just kind of spun off into something that is a very specific niche type of film, which I'm a huge fan of. I just like that kind of movie, but a lot of people don't, and I get that. But I think the idea of this long-running film franchise that takes giant moments and huge twists and turns, but tells this overarching story that's going on, is a lot of fun because you don't see that. You have the Avengers movies now, but they're mostly here's what this character does now, here's what this character's doing, here's what this until an Avengers film, which changes things, or Civil War, which changed things.
Right.
And it's interesting to think about, but horror movies in general, and their transition in pop culture.
Yeah.
Because, like, you think about the earlier horror films, those were, like, low-budget B films. Now you have horror films with huge budgets, like...
People love to be scared.
But here's the thing, I've had conversations with my dad about this.
My dad.
Daddy. All horror movies nowadays, or most horror movies, look and feel exactly the same. You know, The Conjuring, Annabelle.
I would argue The Conjuring is actually a departure from the norm.
I haven't seen it.
The Conjuring to me reminds me straight out of the 80s.
Really?
Like The Conjuring.
It follows is straight out of the 70s, and it is so good. Another
follows
shout out. It follows.
Yeah. The Conjuring. I would not be surprised if that was one of those films that was written in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And was just sort
And
of
they
like,
just
and they're like,
couldn't-
we have so many of these. Throw it in somebody's personal vault somewhere. Someone found it, was like, we haven't seen a movie like this since the 80s.
Yeah.
It
Sure.
really reminds me of good, like, 80s haunted house demon horror. Yes, there are a few, like, contemporary conventions, like the jump scare. Mm-hmm. But
There's only one.
there's only like a handful, and they're all earned.
I hate jump scares.
And that's the problem with jump scares is and I think that's one of the reasons why I think some of the films feel a little either sterile or just the same. Mm-hmm. It's
Sterile.
well, yeah, just like
there's
no-
there's no like you are just being scared by the fact that you're scared because of this tension release with these either orchestra stings or jump scares or false scares.
Well, the reason I say that I think all movies, and I think Conjuring does fall into this, all movies feel the same, is they all have this really similar look of being very gray in this old woman's wooden house out in the farm, where the trailer shot is, people, it's very quiet, there's nothing much going on, but the characters are acting scared while something very subtle and creepy is happening around them, but it's not the right kind of subtle where you're like, ooh, I'm afraid of what's going on, like in the shadows, but it's just, crosses being turned upside down all around the thing. And that could happen, I think, in any of these films. It could happen in Annabelle, or it could happen in A Haunting in Connecticut.
Have you seen The Conjuring?
I don't see. Here's the thing. I couldn't tell you. I've seen some of these movies, and they all kind of blend together.
So, like,
And that's...
no, go ahead.
Well, that's my other problem with horror movies, beyond the fact that they legitimately terrify me to an unhealthy point. I think they rely more on effects than they do actually writing a good story, and I don't give a shit about anything that doesn't have a good story.
Right.
I just don't.
Yeah, I have a problem with that too.
Unfriended was good too.
Ooh, yeah, Unfriended was a lot of fun.
That was something new and fresh that
Unfriended took the idea of the found footage film where you're literally strained in this, and then shrunk it down even more. Because for those who don't know, that's a movie that takes place entirely
on the internet,
on a computer screen. It's like it's like a video capture of this woman's computer as she's Skyping all her friends, and so the scope is so specific and narrow, and you're only seeing what literally sometimes single frames that they want you to see at any given point, and it really forces you into this perspective. And you're like, you would lose your mind. You'd have gray hair by the end of it because you'd be like,
end of it, I was shitting myself in public.
Yeah. So that's a movie that felt original and different.
Yeah,
it follows
did.
too.
It was,
but
and
that was really
right.
callbacky to the music in It Follows. Was just so weird. I loved it.
Like It Follows. That was a really scary one too.
So I'm a huge horror movie fan myself. I make up.
I like
up
to
for
say
the
I am,
horror
but
movie
I'm a chicken shit.
like.
I don't like to actively see horror films. Like, if someone's like, hey, there's this really good horror film that I want to watch, I'm like, all right, fine. I will not go to a movie theater to see it because I don't want to pay money to be uncomfortable for 2 hours. I just don't want to.
I feel so bad when I go to, and I don't do it often, to go see horror movies in theaters because I'm literally like hands over the eyes, like I won't watch the entire thing. I'll be like, tell me if it's scary. I can't handle it.
I know you haven't because I know all the movies that you see, but have either of you two seen The Witch, the new movie that just came out earlier this year, I think?
The Blair Witch?
No, The Witch.
Oh,
The Witch? No.
This was before, but it might have been last year. This was a movie that's set in the colonial times. It's pilgrims living out in. I don't know the exact wording here. I'm sure people are going to be like, it's actually whatever. But all of the dialogue is taken from historical accounts. They do not modernize the dialogue, and sometimes it is impossible to understand what they're talking about. So it's less so much the dialogue and more the just tone of the movie, and it is really cool. And it's just this family in this farmhouse that is experiencing this witch, and then it's kind of Salem witch trials-y, where it's like, have you been consorting with the devil and all that?
Right.
I saw him getting prodded with the devil.
Right. But it's just this family. It's just this group of 5 people. It's not this whole town or whatever. So and it gets really personal and everything. So,
Yep.
That's it.
Nice.
I love horror movies.
Question number 1.
Yeah, check. Down.
That was 2.
Oh yeah, that was
two.
Jody's question. We had 2 questions
asked
in.
Nightmares.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I thought we were still on 1. You're right.
No, it's gonna be like, we are having a long one. We'll probably will anyway.
Yeah, so my question's more spoopy.
Yay.
Good, because I'm terrified now.
Is there a costume that you've seen in recent years? This can be costume or cosplay, whichever, doesn't matter.
Okay.
That you've seen in recent years that just made you go, oh god, no. Not because it was so bad, but there was something about it that you're just like, no.
Yeah,
that was one step too far.
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going.
Mine. Now, this can either be in the horrific side, or it can be this. So we have friends, one-time guest, Jordan and I have these friends, Dominique and Andy. Mm-hmm. Andy dressed up as a Catholic priest, and Dominique dressed up as a Catholic schoolboy.
Oh.
She was on a leash.
And what was the theme of this?
The theme of this party was unsexy costumes made sexy.
This is one of those jokes that is horrible, but I absolutely love.
I'm so on board with it, but when I first saw it, I was like, no,
Yeah.
change. And they actually brought different costumes
In case it was
to
too
change
much.
into. Because there were a couple of people that were like, guys, like, damn.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I don't have an answer this second, do you?
Well, we go to a lot of conventions, so we see a lot of cosplay. And some of the notable ones that we've had was, I think I mentioned the Xenomorph last time.
Yeah.
On the last podcast.
That was awesome.
That was pretty cool because it was just the way the woman, I guess, was moving was really unsettling. I like that. Some of the other ones that we saw, I think it was a Michael Myers one, but the guy was just a huge guy. He was about the size of the actor who played Michael Myers, so he was just this big, bulky guy, and he had this mask on, and it was filthy. It didn't just look like he threw this thing on; it looked real. And I don't think he had a knife, or if he did, it was a fake one. But just the way this guy was just. Maybe it was Jason.
It was Jason.
Okay.
I was gonna say, because that was a good one. Because I literally, we were at Flint Horror Convention.
Did he take the mask off and he had makeup on? Or am I
he
making that
never
up?
he never took the mask off.
Okay.
But like you know what? You couldn't even tell if it was a mask or not on the back of his head because it was like gray and like it was just and we were staying for a costume contest and he was judging it and I was like, no, he's seriously just gonna kill us. It was so real.
Your costume's not good enough.
Yeah, seriously.
Sacrificed.
Yeah, and he wouldn't talk to anybody. It was just like.
He was in character.
Yeah.
When
yes, it was.
That was also what was
Jason.
unsettling about Andy Dominique's costume. They were in character.
Oh, yeah, that's what would take me over the edge.
Spank me, father. And it was like, no.
when
Now.
when the Five Nights at Freddy's games were in full swing, they're kind of winding down now in popularity. But that's another franchise that I'm a huge fan of. When I was first introduced to it, I was really freaked out by it. And when we went to conventions and we'd see people dressed up as Foxy or Bonnie or whatever, we're like, avoiding everything about this and run around. So,
Yeah.
also Chucky.
Oh, fuck Chucky.
If someone's dressed up as Chucky, I'm just going to be like, I'm just not going to look at this because
Someone
it's just...
shows up to a convention as Mangle, I'm gonna shit myself.
Ooh, Mangle is a good one.
Did I tell the story about how I hate... I think it was one of my peeves that I hate going into Spencer's.
Oh, yeah.
Because they keep the Chucky dolls at eye length or eye level.
I
I'm
remember
like,
that.
ugh.
And they move
and they
around.
move them every single time.
So you can never go...
As if by design.
Yeah. Fucking hate it.
And then they have one that comes down and swings.
Stop.
Down. Okay. How about you?
Man, that's a tough question.
I didn't have one, yeah.
So a costume that I thought went too far.
Or just was unsettling to
Or
you,
unsettling.
or...
So this isn't one I witnessed personally, but it's one I witnessed through the internet. So apparently in another country, it was just a torrential downpour, and there was a dude walking around as Conehead. With a giant...
Nope.
Done. The giant weapon that he has.
Was it scraping on the floor and all that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He was just walking around the streets.
Awesome.
I was like, I would move. I would be done.
Yeah.
Done.
That's like that clown shit that's happened.
Like, I would shoot that guy. I don't care if I go to jail. I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like if it's raining and it's misty and it's
Conehead
like,
lives matter.
the video game is real.
Yeah.
And I gotta shoot this guy's face.
I am living in Silent Hill as we speak.
I need to throw him some mannequins to distract him.
Yeah.
I think they're making a Slender Man movie.
They've made a few.
They've been flirting with that
They've
for
been
a while.
They've been terrible. There was a Marble Hornets. There was a. It was what was it called? Something.
Green Hornet? Green.
No, Marble Hornets is the name of the web series. Always watching a Marble Hornets movie, which was
well, I think
not good.
real people are going to be making it.
Like a legit studio rather than indie films.
Yeah.
Since we're on the subject, I'm a huge creepypasta fan in general. I love being scared of things. And
Is there a thing you're not a fan of? This whole episode, I'm a big fan of.
no, The Big Bang Theory. So they apparently
Nice.
I haven't seen this yet, which is a huge travesty. But there's a new TV show called Channel Zero on Sci-Fi, I think, that is about creepypasta. And the first arc that they're doing, which I think is 6 episodes, and I guess each arc is dealing with a different creepypasta story. But the first one is Candle Cove, which is my favorite creepypasta of all time. It's just so cool. We can talk about it later.
One of my favorite creepypasta stories was made into a short film. It's on YouTube. It is one of the scariest things I've ever seen. I can't remember what it's called, the thing that creepy, but it's The Man Who Smiles.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
Right.
Oh, just go and watch it. Man Who Smiles
At,
on YouTube.
at UMaCon, they always have a panel that's like, oh no, creepypasta or whatever. Or say, I don't know.
Something about
I'm always too scared to go. and it's like at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, no.
where I was too tired.
And freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I won't do it.
There's also, if you haven't seen the video Lights Out, you should watch that because that is freaky.
Says someone whose lights won't turn on.
I actually thought of a costume that I've seen in my real life that scared me.
Yeah.
So, as much as I hate horror movies, I've been involved in 2.
Well, yeah, the acting in them.
Well, I was an actor in one that never really got produced, but it was fun. Well, when I was in high school, I was in charge. Like, I was the founding student for our video club. So when a horror film production company came to our school to rent out the gymnasium to shoot some scenes, they were like, "Hey, want to just like hang out and be their person that knows where everything is?" It's like, "Hell yeah, I do!" And I ended up being like their boom guy because their boom guy never showed up, and it was fun. They had so it was this combination slasher/zombie movie called Monsters on Main Street. And so their slasher guy, he had this big, like, fucked up, leathery mask face. But this guy was 6'5", easily 300 pounds, and just horrifying. And he had this giant-ass knife. And it was even more horrifying because he didn't know how to, like, do that stuff properly. He wasn't a really trained actor. So I'm watching him take these wild slashes. I'm like, ha! You're gonna actually kill someone. Stop it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, that was legitimately horrifying because he was so massive. The costume was horrific.
I bet.
Yeah.
What's
Good.
your one-time question?
My one-time question.
Wait, yeah. Are we?
Yep,
are we
we're
there?
good.
Okay.
We're
I've lost track of everything that's going on so
It's
far.
cool that you were only here for our Halloween episode.
Yes.
Yeah, you made it for this one very special event.
Yeah, the person who hates horror the most is
Yeah.
here for the horror episode.
Why did you show up?
It's a Halloween episode. I was my other question was gonna be nice and light and fun.
Nah, but nope.
Because I'm chained to the table.
Oh, that's right. Still,
It's my nightmare.
the key I swallowed will pass soon, and then we'll let you out. So, I just wanna-
Anyways, my question is, what is an urban legend that just
No,
up your
why,
life?
guys?
Yes.
Why do we have to?
Yes,
this
I'm-
was supposed to be a fun episode.
it's Halloween. Come on, this is fun for me.
This is fun.
All right,
Oh,
so
I'm gonna never sleep again.
yeah.
So I found this article that I thought was safe to read
Wasn't?
because it
It
was
was NSFL.
it was Japanese urban legend. So I thought this is
Oh, those are the worst.
This is Japocentric. It's not going to affect me. Whatever. Nope. Because they have this thing called Gap Girl.
Yep.
Gap Girl.
Yep.
I guess this maybe not is what I'm thinking of.
So, like, let me find one
No, can
around
you
here.
not?
Say there's a gap between two pieces of furniture.
Stop!
If you look at this gap, she sees you.
Oh, this is horrifying.
And that's your warning. If you
Okay.
see her a second time, she pulls you into the gap dimension. Which is like, gap hell.
Yeah.
Not like in a mall, like the hell of that gap.
You want to know?
Forever.
Right. You want to know how I know this is a legitimately horrifying thing? Because I've been doing this creepypasta thing for many years now, and most of the time I get to something where I hear about it and I'm like, okay, I guess if I had just started out that'd be creepy. But that's something that you say, and I'm immediately like, my hair stands up and I'm like on edge, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
It fucked me up for months. Like,
Jody's like shaking.
I hate
shaking her
these
hands
things
out.
because I can never decipher.
like even today, looking into that
Stop.
futon,
Nope.
fucking me up.
That's not gonna happen. I mean,
Can you consider that a gap?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a gap
Any
between
gap.
any.
no,
it's anything.
no, it doesn't work. 'Cause it has to be between.
The gap between that wall and
Stop.
the refrigerator.
Stop.
Yep, that's one.
Stop.
And of course, I know it's not real, and I
Right.
don't. But like,
That's the
it's
thing.
just enough. It's just enough.
You can always, you can never, you can always or never, one of the two, intellectual your way out of being afraid of these things. Because you can say, this is dumb, it's obviously not real, it's not going to happen, I'm completely safe. But your brain doesn't accept it, and your body is just like, no, I'm still not looking over there because...
Why chance it?
Right. Even though there's no risk of it happening, there's absolutely 0% chance. That's still not what I'm still not willing to take that chance.
I have
I hate you.
another
I hate you so
really
much.
great one.
Please tell me.
From that same article, and I don't remember what it's called, but essentially it's this woman who walks around Japan with a giant pair of scissors.
Yes, this is the one.
Never
I thought you were
going
gonna
to
say.
Wearing
Japan.
a surgical
mask.
And she'll take it off, and she has these grotesque Joker-esque scars on her face that make her smile. And she asks you if you think she's pretty. If you say yes, she cuts your face to look like hers. If you
Sometimes
say no,
killing you,
she
sometimes
cuts
not.
your head off
Yeah.
with her giant scissors.
So, So
That picture was terrifying. I remember the
I was
article
gonna say
you were talking
the
about.
picture would be scary,
Yeah.
but just talking about it, I'll just never go to Japan. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my logic.
I knew about this, and then the show Constantine happened, and they actually used this in one of the episodes, but it was just such a watered down version of it, and for some reason happened in America, which I mean whatever, but America. But it just was not scary the way they did it, and so I was like, hey, there's a thing I know, but it's a stupid version of it.
Right.
I thought you were gonna. Well, it's not really an urban legend, so I won't talk about it now.
Well, you can go.
Yeah.
Well, mine. It's okay. See, sometimes I can't tell the difference between an urban legend and just creepypasta because
I mean, they are kind of interweaving today,
Right.
but an urban legend is more regionalized.
yeah. When I was younger, I was doing research into like the Jersey Devil, which is pretty close. New Jersey's.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. There's not really much about it, so it's
Is it basically like Jeepers Creepers?
no. It's
It was on an episode of Monster Quest.
Oh, was that really?
Yeah.
It's basically just nonsense. It was this woman had her 13th child or whatever, and it came out super deformed, and so her husband threw it in
Yeah.
a lake or whatever, and then it just haunts to this day or whatever. But it just looks. There have been so many different versions of it that there's not a specific picture. But I was never really scared of it. I just thought it was really cool. But Slender Man, when I first learned about Slender Man, that was the longest stretch of me being just absolutely gut-wrenchingly you can feel the chemicals in your brain of your fear whenever I would think about it for the longest time.
That was Five Nights at Freddy's,
Yeah.
and I hadn't been scared of something in so long,
Yeah.
and then this goddamn video game comes along, and I'm just like, I can't handle this.
When I first discovered Slender Man, I was immediately like, whenever I go outside, I'm not, even when I was inside, I'm not looking around, because if I see this thing out of the corner of my eye, I'm just going to be like,
So then you saw it on the corner of your eye often.
No. But I was always just, my brain was always just on high alert mode, and whenever somebody would just mention it in passing, just randomly, and I would immediately go, no, and then be scared. So, I guess that would be.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
The urban legend that fucks me up the most is the one where the babysitter's in the house, and
Oh my
Let
god,
me-
I know this one. It's great.
let me see how it goes. The babysitter's in the house, and the kid won't go to sleep. Says, no, I don't like that clown that's in my room.
Mm-hmm.
So the babysitter's like, it's been in your room, it's your room, like, just, nothing's changed, so just go to bed. Whatever.
Right.
And then so, like, this kid just keeps saying, like, no, I really don't want to go to bed. She's, like, thinking, she's like, oh my god, you're a pain in my ass, like, go to bed. So then the mom calls, like, hey, how's everything going? We'll be home soon. And she's like, oh, everything's fine, he just doesn't want to go to bed because of that clown that's in his room. And the mom is like, get out of the house now. There's no clown in his room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, that one fucks me up so much.
I remember that one. I remember using that as a
Yeah.
thesis or quote unquote for.
I remember you doing that too.
What do you mean?
Something. You wrote
No,
about,
I'm just saying. I think about that in terms of execution versus what's actually happening, because the idea of it is creepy, but it's not inherently creepy inside your brain. I think the execution is what really nails it, because there's something about the intensity and severity of the parents immediately recognizing the danger of the situation and saying, "Get out of the house." Like, it, just even thinking about it now, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, because it's something about I remember
that one, and the one where the guy and the girl are making out in the woods in the car.
Oh yeah,
and
the claw.
Yeah, the hook guy. Oh,
the horror movie trope.
The ultimate. It's the ultimate urban legend, but
where it's on the radio. Hookman has escaped from federal prison. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and she hears something. She's like, "Oh my god, no!" And he's like, "Whatever, just do me."
Yeah,
she's like, "No, we need to go." And then they get home and find the hook like in the door.
I
hate
would
that one
like
too.
to discredit that story's possibility. You cannot escape prison with a hook on your hand. You have to either dig or climb.
You can climb with a hook.
I feel like that is a very cartoonish
not gonna have a
view of
hook in
escaping
prison.
jail.
No one gives a hook.
Right, you would just have your nose.
Yeah.
He's just Jamie Lannister, that thing.
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's the one that mess. Those two mess with me so much.
There's also the one about the little kid who hurt. Sorry, I know
I
this
hate
is just
talking about
completely
this
messing
stuff.
with you, but I love this. The little kid who hit his or her whatever mother calls her into the kitchen, and he runs downstairs and he's going through the hallway, and then his mother grabs him and pulls him into a closet and says, "Don't go in the kitchen. I heard it too." It's just like,
that was actually incorporated into that B-film horror thing that I was in as an actor. Yeah, that'll fuck you up.
yeah. There was a movie called Urban Legend with the guy from Fringe and Dawson's Creek. Whatever.
What's his face?
What's his face?
Wagner,
The dude.
whatever.
Something.
Dawson.
Dawson.
No,
I haven't seen it, but
Not Dawson.
Dawson. We gotta get to the creek. I mentioned I mentioned Ben Schwartz auditioning for Fringe on the top. There's a link in the video somewhere.
My favorite urban legend is the one where the kids play the board game and they can get sucked in the board game.
You're
Jumanji.
talking about Jumanji. No, or are you talking about...
Are you seriously talking about Jumanji?
The sequel, the not sequel to Jumanji.
Are you talking about Zathura, the greatest movie ever made?
No.
The greatest movie sequel ever
Even
made?
the cartoon Jumanji, they got sucked into the game, the board.
There was a cartoon?
I love you though, because I'm done with there's a Jumanji cartoon.
Did you guys ever play the actual Jumanji board game?
No.
Once.
I was always so afraid to because I was like, what if it's real?
That's like fucking.
What year is it?
Yeah.
What year?
I played it to meet Robin Williams.
Yeah, what if Robin Williams goes out of my game? That'd be cool.
Guys,
It's not worth it with all that shit. Yeah. That and you don't mess with the Ouija board. Like the.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you do that?
Right.
Oh my god.
Do not, listeners, do not mess with
Hey, I
it.
got an idea.
Stop.
All right. So we were on questions. You haven't answered yet.
I
He
did.
just
You
did.
did Jumanji.
Jumanji.
Oh, you were serious? All right, Connor. Whatever.
No, but in all seriousness, the creepypasta, the man who smiles.
Oh yeah.
Like, because like to watch, you're like, oh, that's just an idea. That's just a single incident. But like, I think we all have this innate fear of something we can't control.
Yeah.
That just pursues you
Yeah.
tirelessly.
So I think that's all the questions that we've had. Is everyone asked questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get a palate cleanser.
Yeah, well,
Jesus.
first, before we do that, the thing that I was the most scared of online, and this was a jump scare, quote unquote, but the most horrifying thing to happen to me online was this comic. People know what I'm talking about when people mention the Japanese comic.
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so this is a comic that it's a long, tall comic. So you start at the top and you're scrolling down, and it's this woman, and it's written with this text over it and everything. And this woman's walking in Japan, and it's translated into English. And she sees this figure under the streetlight, and she is, who is that? So she approaches, and as she's reaching for it, and this is the freakiest thing. You scroll the mouse wheel down, and it's a picture of the back of this woman's head. But then, without you touching the scroll wheel,
Fuck that.
it turns around and looks
Fuck
at
that.
you. And apparently I had my volume off, but apparently there's a sound that goes with it too, which I would not be able to
Fuck
handle.
that.
And here's the most horrifying part about it. Your immediate reaction is to start scrolling up because you're like, get me out of this.
No.
But it stays there. And it's just this creepy demon like smile
I would
picture.
die. I
And
think I
so
would die of fear.
I literally was just like, I was like, I didn't make a sound, but I just like immediately tensed up, and I closed my browser, shut my laptop, and pushed it, and I got up and I started walking around. If I had cigarettes, I would have started smoking immediately, but I was just like,
That's like that damn video that's like, oh, do you see the ghost? And you're like, I was so close
Oh,
to the
yeah.
screen, and then I hate that thing so much.
It's that really classic. It's like a car commercial.
Yeah, it's like, do you see the ghost in the car commercial? And it's like car driving down the road, and then all of a sudden the zombie's like, rah!
Yeah, that was, I think, like the first viral video ever from like.
Yeah, because I saw that in like 8th grade.
Yeah,
Like,
that was when the internet. It's like, what's the internet? Oh, it's cool. It has this video on it. Yeah.
fuck that.
So I love creepy stuff. Palate cleanser. Who said anything about a palate?
I
cleanser?
have one. What is your favorite Halloween or autumn food? I don't want to answer first. Somebody else answer first.
I'm a huge apple cider fan. I don't like warm apple cider. A lot of people do.
Oh, I love warm. Last night warmed up apple cider and put caramel schnapps in it.
Ooh, I would try that. But I'm a huge fan of just refrigerated, cold apple cider just in a glass. It really makes me feel very fall-y.
Now, if you had that outside of fall, how would you feel?
I would love the taste, but it just doesn't feel the
Right.
same. Yeah,
That's exact, because you can buy cider all year long.
Yeah, but it's just like, what are you doing with your life? when
Yeah.
you're drinking cider at Christmas time or whatever.
You're not Johnny Appleseed. Come on.
Right.
Got
It's not entirely specific to fall, because I make it during the winter as well, but I prefer to make it in the fall, and it's beef stew. Like, there's just something about my family and making that. It's like you start making it in the fall, and like it's
Right,
like what
like
you,
Thanksgiving.
It's like what you have around that colder time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love fall. Fall's my favorite season.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be that white girl that says I do like anything pumpkin spice flavored, but it has gotten out of hand.
Pumpkin spice socks. What?
No, but I mean the actual like flavor of pumpkin spice has gotten so plastic over the last like 2 years. I'm like, stop. I remember when it actually used to be awesome.
Good old days.
Salted caramel, pumpkin spice. Oh.
What about you?
So I don't have any like fall foods that I'm a big fan of because I pretty much eat macaroni and cheese and nothing else.
Chicken tenders.
But
Nachos with
Chicken
cheese.
nuggets.
I do love pumpkins, not to eat.
But to look at.
No, I like to
Oh,
pick
to
them up
touch 'em.
and walk downtown, like any downtown, and I like to just throw them at people who are on the cell phone,
Okay.
just to see if they'll drop their phone.
All right. Spoiler.
They will.
They will every time.
They will.
I actually had a Halloween specific peeve that I thought of, and it's really quick, so I'll just throw it out there. But I like when people talk about what's the creepiest video or movie or
Come on,
whatever.
we tried to get past this. Go
I
ahead.
know, no, it's not anything creepy, but people always say, "Oh, my creepiest thing was, the thing about the man in the house," because you could talk about supernatural stuff all day long, but it's the real stuff that really creeps you out. And I always disagree with that because I always think the things that you can't define or what doesn't fit into the world that you have is the creepier thing. That's why Slender Man is creepy.
Right.
Sorry, but
I was gonna say you literally. I mean, we just spent an hour talking about that.
I know.
Go ahead.
I'm dredging things up from the past. That's what I do. But people can talk about there's like a man living in your house, and that's creepy. But the idea of a supernatural entity that you can't control and you don't understand also being in the world with you, that is a more inherent fear. So my peeve is when people are like, the mundane stuff is the scary stuff.
Right. I mean, like, to say... Alright, so this is something I bring up sometimes. Like, I'm more afraid of being bitten by something that's venomous than I am of, like, a bear.
Yeah.
Because, like, venom gets in your body, you're poisoned, good luck.
Yeah.
I'll fucking fight a bear. I'll lose.
Sure.
But I'll fight it.
But that's something you can do.
I could win.
You can match a physical combat.
Right, like, if
I wanna
someone's
see you fight
in my
a
house
bear.
trying to get to me, I'll fucking fight him. I have, like, 3 swords.
What if the bear was poisonous?
That's a world I just don't want to live in.
What if he like dipped his claws in like poisons, like when he scratched you?
What if there was a bear holding 2 snakes as like whips, and he was just trying to hit you with its teeth?
Alex, I think we've got a movie on our hands.
Snake Bear, 2017.
My Halloween peeve is I hate getting pumpkin guts under my fingernails when I'm carving a pumpkin. I can't stand it.
Yeah, that's super. Ugh.
I hate it. So I always wear gloves, and so everyone's like, "Oh, you're such a pussy for wearing gloves." I'm like, "Yeah, but hands don't smell like pumpkins."
Yeah, check me out. with
And
my
could you
nice,
imagine if you
dry
had like some
hands.
festive pumpkin soap? How would you know if your hands are clean? Because it just smells like pumpkin.
There's a difference between an actual pumpkin and what people think is pumpkin.
All right,
That's
guys.
nutmeg.
Halloween's awesome. I'm a huge fan.
Halloween's over. No.
Halloween's over now. Well, by the time you're hearing this, if you hear this when it goes live, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. So, anyone have any final Halloween thoughts?
Boo.
Trick or treat.
Stay safe, check your candy, and stay off my lawn.
I will be making those carameled onions. for people.
Oh my god, how did we not talk about that on our Halloween podcast?
I think we talked about
We talked about it last
Okay,
time.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I wasn't sure if that was the podcast or just us taking
oh, it might have
them
been.
out.
We're gonna take onions and dip them in caramel, so they're caramelized onions.
They're gonna look
they're
like caramel
caramelized
apples, but then they'll bite into it and it's just a big onion. Beautiful.
because we're all Satan. So you can email us, the podcast, if you have questions of your own, comments, criticisms about the show. Don't email us criticisms about the show. Only email us about things that we like. Peeves and Q's podcast at gmail.com. That's Q's is just the letter Q and then an S. Peeves is spelled out. And then you can also find us on Twitter at Peeves and Q's. Again, it's just QS, no apostrophe or anything. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Mr. spelled out the long way, Red2342. That's at Mr. Red2342. Does anyone have anything else they want to plug?
Nope, fuck off.
All right, tell your friends about the show. Review, comment, like, subscribe. Comment in the comments below.
Laugh. Hopefully.
Description, laugh,
Yeah.
cry, all those things.
Get scared,
Get
because I
scared, yeah.
fucking am now.
I'll try to find links to a bunch of the stuff we were talking about, but that'll be a massive list, so we'll see what happens there.
In the words of the great man George Washington, I'm tired and I'm going home.
Nice. What's that behind you?